All right, everybody. So today I've got a powered rack in my 944, electro powered. And so what I did was take a electronic steering rack or column from a Saturn View, and I think maybe 2002 to 2008, somewhere in there. I don't know. I think this came from a 2007. Anyway, took the rack, kind of did some modifications so to fit. Had to cut down the steering rack from the 944, and I got it to fit in here. Um, Very simple. Once you look at it, it's not very difficult. It just takes some engineering, fabrication, and get it in there. It would probably take someone, if you got all your materials, an afternoon, knocking it out, making sure you're fitting everything right, and getting it straightened out. Now, I did this because initially I went to a depowered steering rack from a 944. And I did the depowered because it was leaking all over the place all the time. And so I really got tired of that piece. And so I depowered it, which wasn't bad. Once you get up to speed or rolling, your steering is pretty good. But when you're in small spaces or you're in a garage, you're trying to back out, it really was a bear. And for me, I ended up rolling my fenders, or actually cut my fenders, and I wanted to go with the squared setup, whereas the 944 does have, larger tires in the rear than the front. And so I wanted to go with a square setup that was larger, and that would make it even more difficult to be running a depowered or manual type of rack. So I was thinking about going back to a powered rack, but I'd have to buy a new steering rack and deal with the hydraulics of it all. I did try an electro power steering system. Can't remember what car it's from. Uh, I don't remember, but it just wasn't enough to be able to run both steering and power brakes at the same time. So currently, what I've done is I put this in here, and it's really really neat in that it allows you to have power steering without all the mechanics of hydraulic steering. Um, and so what I did was also set it up to a push button start, which is here. I haven't loaded anything in, but as you can see, I have push button start. Um, what this also allows for me to do is dial in. As you can see, this potentiometer here, it lets me dial in how much assist do I want. If I push it all the way, turn it all the way to the right, it's full power. If I turn it all the way to the left, it's no assist. And so it's pretty neat. So with the push button start that I have now, I just push it. You hear that little click? That's from the assist module, and it gives me my 100% assist. And then if I want no assist at all, I just say, hey, I want road feel. I want to feel everything. I can turn it down. And so what it'll do, it takes about 5 seconds or so for it to really, go to your setting. So if you heard that, it just cut off. So now it's a lot more difficult to assist. Granted, I have my tires off the ground, so it's still pretty easy. But when it's on the ground, it's very difficult. But once I go back to the assist potentiometer, you hear that click, and I go back. Oh my gosh, it's like butter. It's amazing. So it's very simple, and then from the wiring of this, that's actually two, and that's off. And so I've set it up to where my first push, it goes to my accessories. You don't hear anything because I don't have the radio hooked up or anything like that. But then the second one, so I'll turn the AC on. It goes to the computer and the AC, so you can hear that AC. And then if I wanted to start the car, let's make sure it's not in gear. See, I just hold it down and it starts the car, and I can cut it off. So I mean, it's fairly awesome. And it also has a proximity sensors, one in the front and one for the rear, where basically, just like the newer cars, if I'm running up to the car, and it'll unlock it for me if I have the key fob in my pocket. um, I like that. I mean, it's just giving it some of that newer car feel in an old antique vehicle. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you. Oh, before I go, so the wiring. So it comes with, you just grab all the wires that come out of the car when you're taking it from the Saturn. But you have the power wire, and I run that across and all the way to the battery, straight to the battery. It's the constant hot source. And then you have a ground, and this ground I just ran it up here and has a eyelet on it, and I just grounded it to the body. And then within this little module, there's a little module here that I purchased from a guy on eBay that allows it to have the functionality of the potentiometer. Now, without it, I think it can run in a limp mode. It just has one level, but I like the fact of being able to do that. And I think it was about 50 bucks, but it allows you to have, and you can probably make one of these yourself. Um, all it is, the one that comes from the factory, the connector has two connections on it, this one and this one. And with this potentiometer, he's built this module that allows you to have a hot and a ground, and then it has the two wires for the potentiometer. For the hot, this is what turns the system on. It'll go to a key on hot, or however you want to do it, or accessory one, or whatever it may be. So whenever you click that button or turn your key, it'll turn the unit on. Now, you can also run it to a button so that, if you're in the garage or you just want to have power assist and move the car around, you can just flip that button and it'll cut it on. Of course, I just wired mine into the key on of my push button start, and I'm good to go. Um, all right. Well, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. But pretty awesome deal, for an old car. If you want that new car assist and that feel, you want to get rid of that manual steering, or excuse me, that power steering leaking all over the place, you can do that. And it's definitely easy. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.